I think we can all agree that when it comes to gaining weight, when it comes to getting size onto your frame, the most difficult part is the eating. Most guys online just sit here and tell you, "Oh yeah, you need to be doing your training MRV, bro. You 0 to 3 reps till failure, bro. Just like 10 to 20 sets per session." But they don't actually explain you how to do the most important part to gaining size, which is the eating. If you don't know, the most important thing when it comes to gaining or losing weight or even maintaining your weight is calories in, calories out. You have something called a basal metabolic rate, which is essentially just how many calories do you burn just from existing. Most guys, and you can look it up right now, literally go to ChatGPT, say, "Hey, I weigh this much, I do this level of activity." It might even ask you some questions. Just ask it, "What is my basal metabolic rate?" That's the amount of calories on average you would need per day in order to maintain your weight. You need to be above that if you want to gain weight. But the thing is, for so many skinny guys, it's not necessarily a motivation problem. Obviously, like, you can be unmotivated, you cannot want to progress like in the proper ways or whatever. You can just not know where to start. So the motivation's kind of there, but you don't use it. But the thing that normally holds guys back is they're training hard, they're doing all the right things, they're trying like to listen to the science-based YouTubers and things, but they just can't eat enough. I was personally like this when I was younger. I started off 45, 50 kilos. Now I've gained 10, 15 kilos, something along those lines. I'm like 62 to 64 kilos now. Got pretty swole. I'm also the same height, so that helps like my case a ton. And my problem wasn't the training. It obviously, like, when we all start out, our training sucks, all that kind of stuff. Like any experienced guy will tell you, "Hey, yeah, when I started as a beginner, I was a retard." But the problem then wasn't the training, because as a beginner, you're going to make crazy gains regardless of what I do, or what you do, I should say. Nobody teaches you how to actually eat. And I'm actually going to teach you to do that, because I have gotten to the point to where I was barely able to eat 2 slices of pizza, to the point to where if you put 2 full pizzas in front of me, I will crush that thing and I will make it look easy, and I'll drink water and Coke on the side. That is the level that I've got to, and I'm actually going to be sharing you these like kind of like secret things that nobody talks about, that literally I've heard one other person in my life, and that was I think Joe Frazier. I don't remember if it was Joe Frazier or it was the one pretty boy on TikTok. Not Alex Eubank. What's the other guy? David Lade. I don't remember which one. I'm pretty sure Joe Frazier though, who talked about how to actually eat more. So after this video, go watch one of his and look up like Joe Frazier, how to eat more, something like that. But essentially, what you want to do is you don't really want to listen to bodybuilders, and you don't really want to listen to powerlifters and all those people, because yeah, they have to eat, but they have to eat in just barely more than what they're able to naturally kind of sustain. So just barely above their basal metabolic rate. Also, they're on steroids. They have really good size gaining genetics. They just are kind of built for the thing. You, on the other hand, you're probably not very fat. You're probably fairly lean, just you don't have a ton of size on you. So what you should do is make the attempt to eat significantly more than you mean. I have this prediction that skinny guys, because I've helped a couple, that skinny guys specifically can get away with eating more than the recommended like 200 to 500 extra calories over their limit and still be relatively fine. Obviously track your calories, but I've went through periods where I've ate like 4,000 calories a day, like track, not like BS, like literally I tracked it, and I was gaining like half a pound per week, and I was active and I was doing all my stuff. So that helped me. Obviously I was training like twice a day back then, but that's something that really I could do. And the eating was the most important part. So what I want you to do is, I'm going to give you some tips personally, but what I want you to do is listen to professional eaters. There are people who make a living, who make genuine tens of thousands of dollars eating food. And they're usually very skinny, very lean guys who do like eating competitions every so often. But these people are able to eat more than any other humans on the planet, and they look like regular guys. Look up Eric the Electrician. ERIK THE, and then however you spell electrician. I'm not going to spell that out for you. Look up Eric the Electrician. If you type that into the YouTube search bar, it should come up. If you look him up, I promise you, and you watch a couple of his videos, I promise you, you will have the motivation to eat more. Some tips that I can give you from what they do is one is food compression. So literally, like, this is going to sound disgusting. No one's going to give you this advice, but honestly, it's not that bad. Food compression. So what you do is, if you have like something that you're able to squeeze together, like bread or fries or something like that, just, it doesn't have to be those things, but obviously if that's what you're eating, then that's what you're going to end up doing. It doesn't have to be those things though. You like crush it up. You'll like take big bites out of it. You'll take big chunks, not only because you're able to eat it faster, but because it kind of like, it's more condensed, it's more stuck together, but it doesn't take up as much space. So if you don't know, like bread and bagels and things like that take up the most amount of space in your stomach, because like as they go down the track, they expand super heavily. And also they're just kind of dense and like kind of fluffy in themselves. If you're able to condense it, then that kind of prevents some of the process. And after a certain amount of time, it's going to expand anyway. But your problem isn't you being full after eating. Obviously, you're going to be full after eating if you're a skinny guy. Your problem is that you're full during eating. You kind of see what I mean? I'm going to say it again. Your problem isn't that you're full after eating. Your problem is that you're full during eating. So what I want you to do is, I want you to try and eat at least one more meal a day. So if you're eating twice a day, eat 3 times a day. If you're eating 3 times a day, eat 4 times a day. Same portion you're used to, maybe even slightly bigger. And I want you to be full after every single meal that you eat. I did this for years where I was full, like uncomfortably full, every single meal for years. And I could did it way more optimally. Like, I never have tracked calories really. There's been periods I did. I told you before, I was eating like 4,000 a day sometimes, and that wasn't like every day, but it was like somewhat consistently between like 3,200 and 4,000. I gave myself that range to work with. 3,200 I actually maintained with. My like maintenance calories is somewhere between like 3,000 and 3,200, which is crazy for only being like 63, 64 kilos, but that's how it works for me at least. But listen to these guys who are professional eaters. They can give you way better tips than I can, because I'm just a guy who's kind of went through the thing and who's done it. The next important thing is actually the training, because if you are eating enough, if you're noticing like you're getting fat, so this is how it works. This is why I hate when online guys say, oh yeah, it's your training. It's not your training. Because if you were gaining weight, but your training sucked, you would get fatter. If you're gaining weight, assuming like it's slow weight, so like the good kind of weight, you're not eating like way too much, you're eating like just over what you need. So you'll gain more muscle proportionate to fat, and you'll probably gain no fat at all, especially if you're more of a beginner and also you have the skinny guy genetics like I do. How it works is, if you were to eat more and your training were to suck, you would get fat. If you were to eat more and your training was really good, you would gain less fat and gain mostly muscle. If you aren't gaining fat or muscle or weight in general, and you've been weighing yourself, the kilograms on the scale has stayed the same, the pounds on the scale has stayed the same, whatever, you need to be eating more. If you've noticed you're getting fat, so I'm going to be giving you 2 solutions. I'm going to keep trying to like hop back and forth for you to give you as much value as possible. Something that you can do is, for your training, is you know all of like the optimal training terms. 10 to 20 sets per workout, which actually isn't true, and I'm going to break that belief very quickly. I'm not like a low volume guy. Just hear me out on that. 10 to 20 sets per workout, 0 to 3 reps in reserve. These training splits work. These don't. You know all of that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you information you already know, but what I am going to tell you is the concept of MRV, which is your maximal recoverable volume. A lot of guys I see get trapped in this, only doing 3 sets per exercise, only doing 1 or 2 exercises for like a specific muscle or like movement pattern or whatever. So like pushing or pressing, and then like a fly or whatever. Chest, for example. What you can do is, there's something called an MRV, which is your maximal recoverable volume. Essentially, what that means is, if you were to have a push session Monday, so let's say you're doing like the push-pull leg split. If you were to do push Monday and then push again Thursday, if you were to train 10 sets on Monday, so 10 sets of chest, for example, you're sore Tuesday, you're sore a little bit Wednesday. By Thursday, you're not sore at all. You're completely good to go. you're within your MRV. So you're able to recover from session to session perfectly fine. And then you can do 10 sets Thursday. And then because you trained that Monday, you're a little bit extra sore because it's kind of like, it's not exactly how it works, like soreness to being able to actually like train properly again, just, I'm not going to overcomplicate it for you, but then you have a couple extra days off. Monday you come back, you can do the same workout and you're completely fine. You're in your MRV. Something you can try is simply just adding a set. So Monday you do 11. You're a little bit more sore than you normally are. Wednesday you're a little bit less sore, and then Thursday you're still good. Cool. You're still within that MRV, your maximal recoverable volume. Next, what you do is 12 sets, then 13 sets, and 14 sets. Once you get to 15, for example, oh, I'm sore now. Oh, this Thursday session isn't going to go well because I'm too sore to perform. Like this is uncomfortable. I'm not able to push hard. Like it just, even after warming up, like it still feels funny. Or you might have noticed that with 14 that, yeah, I'm probably not able to go higher. Like this is cutting it close. That is going to be an essential thing that I wish somebody taught me about way earlier in my training routine. I read a book called, I think it was like something about like recovery and fatigue management by Renaissance Periodization. It's by Dr. Mike, Dr. James Hoffman, and Dr. Melissa Davis. I read basically the entire section. I haven't finished the book because I kind of like reading it as I have to learn things. So like it has a glossary or a table of content or whatever. And as I go into learning things, and I'll read it. But in that section, when it talks about maximal recoverable volume, you're able to literally there's been some studies, this is going to sound crazy. There's been some studies, after leg day, how you're ridiculously sore. Listen to this. There's been some studies that show you can do up to 50 sets per week and still make more gains than the guys who did 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, and 1. You can make more gains by doing more, but only with the caveat that you can recover. That is the most important thing, because if you're not able to recover, then you're losing out on gains. If you're interested, I have a free community about like calisthenics and training, and it's basically on like 0 all the way up to like your first muscle up and your handstand push up, whatever. If you're interested in that, give that a go. It's completely free. All you have to do is like just answer like a couple of questions, and then you're in, and I accept you and all that kind of stuff. That's been everything. Keep doing the best of doing your best. Trust God. Signing off.